Let us not dawdle, for there are grudges to settle, and new entries in the Dammer's Cron to right!
Howdy, howdy! Devil here, and welcome to a training match versus a Boss, my coach, with me playing the Dwarfs and him playing the Tomb Kings. Now, this match came about, we were just chatting, and he's really been working on learning the Tomb Kings, and he wanted to play the Tomb Kings against my list for the Dwarfs. And this is we had played some early games before we did any of my training, where I didn't know his list, he didn't know my list. And this is the first game after we did all of our training sessions. One of the first games, I think, after we did all four of our training sessions, where we just played for fun. And he wanted to play his Tomb King. So I'll go over my list. If you watch the channel, you've seen it before. It hasn't changed in a while. It's a bit of a mishmash list, but it seems to be okay. So I have two miners out front. They're really out front to take early shots. Then they can go to the back line, get in the way, muck things up. That's their job. For my base front line, I have 3 Longbeards and 2 Dwarf Warriors. And that's really just to hold up in the front. Now, the back line and defense, I have 3 Longbeards with great weapons. And they have pretty good mass, and they're pretty good anti-large, so they can do reasonably well against... I mean, nothing does good against Tomb Scorpions, but they can slow things down reasonably well. And I do have the Dragonback Slayers way back here to slow things down. For my back line, or my mid line, I do have 2 Bugman's Rangers on the outside, and that's so we can accept charges if we have to. I have 2 regular Rangers on the inside, and I have the Ulthar's Raiders. Now, the Ulthar's Raiders, when you put that marked by Ulthar, you take 24 missile parry, 22% missile resistance, and minus 30 armor for 28 seconds. It's quite powerful. And then I have the base contingent of the Runesmith and the Runelord, but I do have a few extra abilities. So I have the Hammer of Carrick draws for big stuff, like a Tomb Scorpion. The Rune of Wrath and Rune to, damage damage units, but more to slow them down. And I do have the Master Rune of Groth One Eye to help against fear and terror with a little bit of leadership around there. And for my Rune Lord, I have the Master Rune of Wrath and Rune, again, to take down some powerful unit or to slow things down. I also have the Master Rune of Grungni for the missile resistance, because you can get against the so-called Boshopti and kind of things that can really whittle you down from afar or take up key units. So really, this lineup is meant to sort of screen things out and to really make it hard for things to kind of get into the back, and to find one target and then to just absolutely focus on it with everything that I've got. And that's sort of the idea behind the lineup. Now, for Boss's lineup, he has 3 Tomb Scorpions way out wide. So 1, 2, and then 1 way on the other side. He really loves going wide. So Tomb Scorpions are really, really hard to handle. And he does have Cetra the Imperishable also out here with his Tomb Scorpion. So Cetra the Imperishable has Nehru's Incantation of Protection for the 44% physical resistance for 18 seconds. That's quite powerful. He does have Dejof's Incantation of Cursed Blades with only 3 wounds in magic for 20% weapon damage, 20% armor piercing damage. He has Unyielding Will, 55 meter range, 10 stats. That's a massive buff. He does have a Restless Dead. Every time he casts a spell, it heals a little bit. He has the Curse. When he gets below 50%, he'll do damage to everyone, and he does cause fear but not terror. And he is weak to fire, although I don't think I have anything that does fire, no. And then he has a Nehakar Warrior and a Skeleton Warrior. We know that Nehakar Warriors, I think, are probably still a little undertuned on this side. And I think he has a Nehakar Warrior, and 2 Skeleton Warriors on this side. For his front line, he does have Tomb Guard, along with the King Nekesh's Scorpion Legion Skeleton Spearmen. So he has those 3 Tomb Guard, and he has 2 Skeleton Warriors up front. And back here he has 2 Skeleton Archers, and those are obviously for Slayers. So you can see I'm already on the move. So what I've done is, we'll press play here. what I've done is I already counted down his army, and this is every time I play a worker bus, I really try and use the training. We have 4 training sessions. If you have not seen them, improve my play massively. So I really counted down his army, and then I thought, well, he's like super wide. I mean, like way out here. What I'll do is I'll actually shift my army this way and try and set up sort of like that, so that he has to wheel to get to me. Okay, because sometimes I like setting up sort of on the very edge of the if the line's like right here for the setup. Sort of, I do like to set up here so that I give myself the maximum time, but that's usually if I just have artillery, because I want to make his army wheel and like that, and I want to take some time. Now I noticed that, like, these units are way out, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna wheel over here, and then I thought maybe if I just push up a little bit and get in range of my rangers. So I see his units up there. See, I can see him keep shifting this way. I want to shift out here. I mean, I don't want to go too close to the white line, because I do want to obviously allow him chances to flank, so it'll be fun. And I'm sort of pushing into here, and I notice I am getting really close. Like, you can see here's the edge of my ability. So I thought, well, maybe I can get up and get some shots into the skeleton warriors. Yes, they have silver shields, but still, I mean, they're free. And I mean, these guys don't have a ton of ammo, but I might as well go get some free shots, because he's getting really close. So I'm going to make the decision here pretty soon, because I'm like, okay, what can I do? He's still way out here with 5 of his units. I probably do want to engage. So I'm just thinking, okay, I don't want my miners to engage. I want my miners back here, first of all. I don't want them fighting skeleton warriors. It's nothing. So so obviously your worker boss says, okay, I just want to stay outside of your line, so I'm not going to get shot. So again, I shift a little bit to the right. So I want to make sure that, where's that white line? It's way out here, so we still got tons of room. But I want to just keep shifting. And I think pretty soon here's where I'm going to decide that I really want to push up forward. So really one of the things that a worker boss has been teaching me is, count down the army, so I know what he has. I know his army. And then, here I'm going to go forward, because I want to get into range so I can shoot these things. And then sort of have a goal in mind. And really my goal is going to kill the Tomb Scorpions and Cetra if they get anywhere close my line. But now I'm close enough so I can actually start taking shots. And once you're under pressure, I don't care who you are. It's really hard to stop. So right now I'm getting some shots on these skeleton warriors, and obviously I can't shoot all the way out here. I can probably, my range is sort of halfway out to this side. But I am getting some shots. I'm getting some shots in the front. And, Tomb Guard, I'm getting some shots on some very valuable targets, I know. And I thought, well, I'll just get involved and get the shot in. And he's going to bring Cetra up and around here, and he's going to start coming to get engaged. He has a Tomb Scorpion, and all his units are starting. But he's still got this kind of giant blob that's still a long ways to go. And he decides he's going to come around. So I'm just paying attention. I want to shoot his valuable targets. These Tomb Guardian, stuff like that, and I'm just like, okay, I'll just shift a little bit this way as I see Cetric sort of skulking around back there, I thought, well, I'll send the Dragonback Slayers after him, and then he's just obviously juking me and gonna go right back, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go back here and try and set up in here. And he's taking shots with both his skeleton archers against my rangers. And now this guy's in, so I'm taking shots in the Tomb Scorpion, and I see Cetra here. I'm getting ready, right? I know my trap. I want to hit them double rune of Wrath and Rune, and then I want to hit him with the Ulthar's Raiders. So he's coming in. He's actually going to rear charge me here. This is just... and so there, I give the target. Now I've got Master Rune of Wrath and Rune. Now I've got Rune of Wrath and Rune. He has 9 speed, and he's caught up by Dragonback Slayers, and everyone is shooting at him. He's going to put the incantation... 44% magic, or 44% physical resistance, but it is not going to matter. He's at 9 speed. He cannot move. I've got everyone 100% focused on him. Look at him. He just absolutely melts because of that. He's at 80 armor, and his missile resistance is down, and I just absolutely melt him. Beautiful. Then I'm like, okay, so here comes this Tomb Scorpion. Really, really nice catch. These guys, Nekar Warriors, well, I just push them out and push these guys back in. Now I want to get after this Tomb Scorpion, because the Tomb Scorpions are really, really hard to deal with. So he does have Dwarfs incantation on him, but really he is getting beat down. He actually doesn't do his summon right in here. I never noticed that during the game. So I'm really focused on getting these Tomb Scorpions, because the Tomb Scorpions I know are real trouble. So I'm fighting out here against Tomb Guard, and I got some Longbeards out here. But I really just want to focus down that Tomb Scorpion and absolutely nail him. And now he's got the extra units, so he's got the Tomb Guards in, he's got units kind of over, but I am pushing these guys out with Dwarf Warriors. That's who I want to chase these guys. And I've just about killed one Tomb Scorpion, so I'm after this guy and just pushing him out. I just want to finish off this Tomb Scorpion and then go one at a time. And my backline is starting to get beat up down by these King Nahesha Scorpion leaders, but I've got the Hammer of Carrick draw, so minus 44 melee attack, so they're not going to do much damage. So I have just about got this Tomb Scorpion. Minus 14 leadership. It just takes so long. But in comes the Longbeards with great weapons. These guys will absolutely hold this guy still, well, as still as he can hold, and we'll be able to push him down and actually get into his face. And then we get that guy. All right, now there's 2 more Tomb Scorpions here, so now I focus on this one at a time, and that is the game. So really, when we kind of sort of talked about this game afterwards, and you know, it's been a while since Aurora Boss has played, and he didn't know about that trick with the double Rune of Wrath and Rune, knocking your speed down to 9. So he thought he was going to come in with Cetra the Imperishable, you know, take a leisurely stroll through my back line, kill some of my units, and then kind of leave. And you know, he wasn't even that worried about hitting the Dragonback Slayers, because he would still be faster than the Slayers. But that Rune of Wrath and Rune, the double Rune of Wrath and Rune's 18 seconds, and he just couldn't move. And the Dragonback Slayers were hitting him, and his armor was lowered from the Ulthar's Raiders. Like, that helped the Dragonback Slayers hit him even harder. And then we were able to get 1 Tomb Scorpions, and we're automatically going for the other Tomb Scorpions. Yes, you know, he quit out a bit early, I think, but you know, I always like to fight to the death, personally, for the most part. You know, unless you absolutely have to, but c'est la vie, it is what it is. I think the gist of it was the Dwarfs have an advantage against the Tomb Kings, and that's sort of what we talked about, because particularly because of the infantry. You know, they obviously, these Skeleton Warriors, I didn't even make a dent. You know, 9, 1, 4, 0, and 2. They're not there. They're there to be chaffed. The King Nahesha Scorpion Legion. I put the, you know, I should probably had a better place, but for the Hammer of Carrick draws, but 1 Tomb Guard we completely wiped out, and another one was getting hurt. We were after the Skeleton Archers already. We destroyed 1 Tomb Scorpion and 2 more. Now, you know, obviously we could have kept fighting, but it was definitely swinging hard in my direction, especially with the Longbeards. Like, the Longbeards with great weapons and the base Longbeards are really, really hard to deal with for the Tomb Scorpions, as hard as they can be, because they have a high mass. And the Tomb Scorpions get around really, really easy, and whatnot. But we had a pretty good back line, and it was a obviously for me it was a hugely fun fight, because it was after all the training, and I used everything that, you know, my coach has taught me against him in a game, and you know, I had a goal in mind, and I pushed the pace to achieve my goal. Like, I wanted to set the engagement off to one side, and then, you know, I had that thought in my mind. I thought, well, why don't I push to engage everything? And you know, and that's what I did. And you know, listening to him talk about his own play was really interesting afterwards. After the game, he was like, well, you know, I just got impatient. You know, he's like, we've played games where he's pulled his units back, and he just keeps on grinding for the surround, keeping out of my range. Like, he's done that so many times, and if you've seen the games we played in our training matches, he does that a lot. But I was able to wheel up, and then once I got a hold of him, he came in, and obviously was not worried with Cetra, because Cetra's a very powerful character, has that 44% magic resistance, but that's just not enough to outlast that Dowie gunpower. And when you have the Bugman's or the Ulthar's Raiders, you can actually really make the Bugman's Rangers and the Rangers work against something that's armored and has resistances, because it's just a pure volume of fire plus with that double Rune of Wrath and Rune with 9 speed, they're not moving fast enough to actually dodge any arrows or bolts. So you saw it. I mean, he got 1 kill. Cetra the Imperishable. Cetra the Imperishable can solo half of most armies because he's so powerful. Just obviously got into the wrong neighborhood there, and we were able to catch him out. And so now a Worker Boss is going to be even more dangerous on ladder. But he always only brings 1 Rune Lord. He never brings that double. And I think that's such a powerful tool for the Dwarfs. But it was really fun. It was a fun game and fun playing, and sort of in a lot of ways, it's nice to play against someone who's really strong and to do well. Right? I know that Worker Boss doesn't ladder much anymore, and he's playing other games and stuff like that. I mean, he's still a freaking amazing player. So it's also nice to have your plan work the way you want it to work. And even also, I was able to, like I know Worker Boss has talked to me about, not only having a goal in mind, but being able to change that up. And if I'm pushing to achieve my goal and I can't achieve it, to change my goal a little bit and to look for other opportunities, which is a great weakness I have. So I was really happy to actually use those concepts that I've learned to try and just shift my line, push a little forward and get that engagement. And then obviously there's no concept about that double Rune of Wrath. That's just a devastating dwarf tactic. And I think if you're really trying to play your best game, that's one of the reasons why this combination of Rune Lord and Runesmith are so powerful. Because with the Ulthars Raiders and just a cheap back line of Rangers, I mean I could have had not the Bugman's Rangers, but even regular Rangers, and I would have gotten that job done. I just have the regular Rangers because I'm always worried about Tomb Scorpions and Chariots and Carrion and things landing on the outside. So that's kind of why I have them Bugman's Rangers on the outside, to sort of a little bit more robust on the edges. So that's what that is. So we'll go over who got the kills. 3 and 7 for the Rune Lord and Runesmith. 10 5 for the Miners. 79-10 for the Dwarf Warriors, which is not bad, but they were fighting Skeleton Warriors. 62-6, 29 for the Longbeards. 69-1 and 69 for the Longbeards with great weapons. They were on those edges. Only 2 for the Dragonback Slayers. 5-2, 5, 13, and 0 for my backline, but they killed Cetra. Really, what did best for him was a Tomb Guard, 25, 27, 29, and the Tomb Scorpions, 27, 21, and 16. And they obviously would have got a lot more kills if we kept playing that out. But unfortunately we didn't. Anyways, I would love to hear from you. I ask for comments almost every time, because I really enjoy comments. I really enjoy the discussion down below. Even if you're dropping in to say hello, I'll say hi back, because that's my favorite part of this hobby. And I look at the build, and I've been, this build, I've played it a few times now, and I really do like it. And it's worked pretty well. Not that it couldn't stop working, because there's lots of things that I have on there that obviously are vulnerable to different aspects of a Tomb King's army. But we played a really construct heavy army pretty recently, and obviously this is, I would call it construct heavy, with the Tomb Scorpions, who are really the toughest constructs for the Dawi to deal, and we're able to deal with them. So I'd love to hear from you about the build, about the Tomb Kings build. I know we have a couple Tomb Kings mains on the channel. What do you bring against the Dwarfs? I would love to hear that. And what do you find works best against the Dawi, particularly the leadership? I mean, I would think Cetra the Imperishable on a chariot would be about the very best, because it'd be so hard. It's so hard for the Dawi to handle chariots. Obviously, we have the right tools in this army, but I imagine against a lot of dwarfs, so you can really run them over with that chariot. But you do see other constructs as well. So I would actually love to hear and see what other things you use against the Dawi. And as a Dawi, what do you bring against the Tomb Kings? I mean, obviously, a couple cannons wouldn't be too bad in this matchup, right? They do a number against Cetra for sure. And I've actually seen that cannons to beat the tar out of a Tomb King's Lord on a chariot. It might have been Cetra in Lore Master of Sotek's tabletop tournament. 2 cannons just ate him alive. Like every shot, they just really did well against him. So, anyways, with that said, I hope you found it interesting, and I will see you soon.